Today's verse is taken from a remarkable letter that the prophet Jeremiah wrote to the exiles in Babylon. As a punishment for his people, God allowed King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon to invade Judah on 3 separate occasions. He desecrated the temple at Jerusalem in the process. And those Judeans who were not killed were mostly taken away as prisoners to Babylon. There were 3 waves of this. And this letter was written after the first of those 3 invasions, when many, like Jeremiah, still remained in Jerusalem. This letter is essentially written by Jeremiah on God's behalf to the exiles. And the interesting thing here is that rather than mourn for the city they have left behind, God wants them to settle in to their new surroundings. God promises that one day they will return to Jerusalem in this very same letter. But in the meantime, they are to build their own homes, to marry off their children, to enjoy the produce of the land. And as we see here, God wants them to take a prayerful interest in Babylon's affairs. He says, pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, you too will prosper. As God's people, we long for our true home. But for the time being, He has placed us wherever we are in the world as strangers and exiles. And of course, many in our own Church of Trinity are indeed exiled from our home country, but we are all, as Christians, in some way strangers and exiles. Yet while we live in Santa Cruz, Bolivia, God wants us to take an interest in its affairs. We are to pray for those in authority. We're to pray for those who attend to the sick. We are to pray for peace, for justice, and for prosperity. And we are to pray, above all, that the hearts of Bolivia would be turned towards the God of the New Jerusalem. May we all pray today with boldness for Bolivia.